All right. For those that may be tuning in, my name is Kenyon Ellis. I go by the Kid. Now, once again, what I'm doing, I'm just going through a simple, basic setup. This is a setup that would be for a DJ that's streaming using multiple camera angles. A lot of this stuff has been explained in a lot of my podcasts and a lot of my videos, but since I'm outside the studio and was able to set up stuff in a different location, I'm just going to go through a lot of stuff that some of y'all may have heard before, and then a lot of stuff that hasn't been explained before. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to be moving around a lot with my gimbal. And I'm gonna have to watch while I'm moving because I have on a corded lapel mic. So I want to make sure that everything is adjusted good there. Now to start off is with my equipment. The equipment that I have, and let me flip my camera around. All right, what I have set is two 1210s, turntables, Range 62 Z-Trip mixer. They have dicers. I'm using MacBook Pro. This is a 2011. I'm running the newest version of Serato. So that's what I'm using for my music. Now I have a mic, boom mic that's set up right here. And I recommend whenever DJs are DJing to have a boom mic set up as opposed to I can't get this gimbal to work worth nothing. All right, there we go. I would recommend having a boom mic set up as opposed to a mic stand, because then you can swivel your mic to where you need it, and when you're done with it, you can just swivel it out the way. So right now it's out of the way. All right, now as for my video, now that's on my audio side. On my video side, I'm using the Asus laptop. It has a i7 processor, think like 8 gigs of RAM, maybe 12 or something like that. And no, it's not an i7, it's i5. Excuse me, it's an i5 Asus i5 processor, 8 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive. Now all the ports are being used. I have my network connection, which is connected right here, which I have disconnected to my switch. Oh, I hit something by accident. I hit an advertisement. I have it hardwired to my switch, which is run out of the room. If you see this cable right here, that is run to my switch down in the basement. All right, I have a HDMI. This HDMI here is connected. This thing has a mind on its own today. All right, other way is connected to this Samsung. What is this? 47 Samsung 47-inch TV that was given to me. That one was given to me, and somebody gave me this one. They wasn't working, but with me being a TV tech, I was able to fix them. I had the JVC, this one over here, I had it fixed within 1 day. Didn't take me that long. This one, the Samsung, I haven't opened it up yet. It just has a blue line in it. Right now, I'm just using it as a monitor. It works for that. So right now, I'm using it for that. And it's sitting on like a painting or an easel. On top of that, I have one of my webcams, and behind that, I have a 18-inch ring light, which is really bright. All right, so that is the connection for my first video. Then I have into this port, I have this Targus hub. It's a USB 3.0. The laptop itself is USB 3.0. So, and connected to that, I have one of my webcams, which this is the webcam that's on top. This is the webcam right here on top. Right here, this is connected to my MacBook Pro over here. Ugh. This is connected to my MacBook Pro. This is not as easy to use as my selfie stick, which I probably should have went that route. All right, let's get it right. All right, there we go. And then this HDMI right here is connected to this 42-inch JVC, which this screen right here you're seeing, this is the program that I'm using. The program that I'm using to stream with right now is called OBS. And this is what my OBS screen looks like. I have my sources right here. No, my scenes right here. My sources. This is my audio mixer, my controls right over here. And then this, what you see right here, this is Restream. This is my Restream chat right here. And this is my Restream information. So I have everything set up. And then from there, I have my multi-view window over here so I can get to see, if I can get this right, there we go. I got all my different sources. Even though I'm not using the preview program feature in it, I don't have it set up with in studio mode to do that, because I'm not really doing that right now, because I have everything on advanced auto switcher. I have my first scene right there, which is my main camera. I got a second one right there, which is overhead. I'm not using a left, but I am using a right, which you'll see later on. And then the NDI camera is the camera that I'm videoing from right now. And then the rest of them are not in use. So I got everything set up to how I want it. This may be a little bit advanced for most, but some of y'all may want to get into it, but you don't have to really go this far and in depth with everything. What else I got? I got my monitor right here, which is an Event Tune Reference 88-inch powered monitor, which that's a good monitor. I use that one for monitor my sound, which my main output comes out through that. So I only use one speaker, which in this room is more than enough. If I'm outside, I would use that Mackie Thump over there. So I don't really need that in the house. That's really too much of an overkill. So let me step out and talk about what I have going on over here. All right, now like I said, I got this monitor. I can see what I need to see. I can see text when it shows up on the screen, and I can also see myself as well. So you want to be able to get a good view of yourself. The ring light that I have provides enough light, but usually I would need a little bit more. Now I'm about to go into lighting right now. Now with lighting, you want to have, and this depends on the type of displays that you're going to have, or what type of scene that you're going to be setting. If you're going to be like what I'm doing right now, using a green screen, you're going to need at least probably, let me switch the camera around so you can see me. You're going to need probably at least 5 different types of light. The 5 different types of light, you're going to need a light that's going to light your screen behind you. And as you can see, there's a shadow. Right here, there's a shadow, and then there's an even darker shadow behind you. If you don't have your green screen lit properly, the shadows will cause it to fail. There's 2 things that you can have that can cause your green screen to go bad. Shadows and hotspots. Hotspots is when the light is too intense in one area. Like if you had maybe like a uplight or a direct light or a flashlight or whatever shine in one spot to where that spot is too bright. And with it being too bright, it can cause it to where the chroma key effect won't show in. But then you can also have dark spots or shadows, like what you see behind me. You see there's like 3 levels of shadows. There's a shadow right here, then there's one right here, and then there's a darker one right here. Now you don't want the shadows. In order to prevent the shadows from happening, you need to get other lights. And a light like this one right here, this is a softbox light. With the softbox light, it produces not a real bright, intense light, but it produces enough light to where you don't have as many shadows. Now, the reason that you see a shadow behind me is because I'm only lighting it. I only have one, and it's lighting from one side. I would apply another one over here in this corner to the other side and have that to spread the light all the way across. Now, like I said, that light is to light your background, because you're going to produce, your front light is going to produce a shadow onto there. So you want to have 2 lights flanking you from each side to provide light to your background. Now, in some case, depending on how you have it set, you can also have it to where it's not only providing light to your background, but it can also provide light onto you from the side as well. Now, these lights, all they are, and this is just a diffuser. I don't want to take it all the way off, but inside there is a light. The inside is lined with like foil. This right here is like a foil or reflective type of material. And then you have a light bulb in there, but the light bulb is reflected toward the back of it. It's not reflected out. It's reflected toward the back. So you don't get a direct light. It's basically shine off the foil of the back, and that light provides out, and you would have one of these so the light won't be intense. Now, if I take this off, it's going to provide a different type of, well, not exactly a different type of light, but the light will be a little bit more intense than what it is. So that's what you want to have. Now, I got 2 different types of light here. This light is more of a white light. Now, my light for my ring light is a warm light. So it's more of a natural outside type light, which in this case, I would change out the panels on it and put white diffuser panels on it to where it would match this type of light. That's one thing you don't want to have. You don't want to have 2 different types of light used at the same time. You want to either use this or you want to use that, but never both together. And as you can see right here on my side, you can see right here, this is a warm side, this is a white side. So the lighting that I have set in this room right now would not work. As you can see, my face is divided into 2 different types of lights. So you want to make sure you have one and not the other. Now, let me explain the green screen. Now, I've talked about this green screen several times. Let me see if I can get on the other side of this equipment so I can get as much of a view as I can. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get in front of the TV, but I want to make sure that my cord is not where it will get tripped on or whatever, so I can explain what I have going on with the, and I'm gonna turn this light down. Now, My ring light has has intensity to where I can turn it down. I don't need it really too bright for where I am. Well, yeah, I do, because I needed to show. Christian, thought I had saw you. Never mind, I got it. I need to turn on the light for the room. All right, let me reach the light switch. All right, there we go. All right, now I'm gonna explain the green screen. I need to get back as far as I can, because what I'm going to explain is a little bit more than what I've done before. I haven't done anything this size. So what I'm about to explain now is a little bit different than what you may have seen in other videos. Now, the idea that I came up with a few months ago, it was probably before St. Patrick's Day. I was in Dollar Tree and I noticed that they had green tablecloths. I have several different colors of tablecloths from there. I have a red one, a yellow one, and maybe a black one. Black one is the one that I usually pick up to cover up my workstation or whatever. So I noticed the green and I'm like, man, that will probably be perfect for a green screen. And so I think I bought maybe 5. I bought about 5 and I merged them together. And these are the first generation of green screens that I played with. Right here. Well, no, this is not the Dollar Tree. That one came from Party City. This one is the Dollar Tree. Now, as you can see already, that it is very thin. It was a lot thinner than what I thought. And I did get it to work, but it took some adjustment to get it to. As you can see while I'm holding it up, you can see the wall, like right there where the blue tape is. If you look between that, well, you can't actually see the switch, but you can see that it's kind of thin. Now, then I tried something a little bit thicker. Party City, hold on a second, I lost my screen, but hopefully it's still there. Anyway, Party City had something that was a little bit thicker. So I went with the Party City. I got 4 or 5 of those too. They were only like $1 each. I got them for the same amount as a Dollar Tree. If you can get them, and if they don't work, you can also use them for several other things. You could use them to fill up extra spaces on the wall by doubling them up and making them thicker and darker. You could use them to cover up a table and make your table transparent into your Chroma Key. You could even use them on the floor to make your floor transparent. Like if you want to have like a walking on water or walking on a cloud effects, then you would put some on your floor. And hold on, because I got something on my screen I need to get off. And it's not disappearing. All right, there we go. But I would suggest skip the Dollar Tree and get the Dollar General. Now, the other thing that that was a problem with these is that they're reflective. So when you start to apply your light, it's gonna make hot spots and it's gonna cause it to be bright, which means you have to take your light back further so it won't be intense directly on your screen, or that you have to double up. But the plastic ones didn't really work that well. Now, also they had paper ones. The problem with the paper is they are not very sensitive, but they're sensitive to be torn. I've actually torn this one. This spot right here, over right here, is where it got torn. Now, once you put tape on it, and this is like painter's tape, which is supposed to be easy to come off. Once you put tape on it, you can't get it off. It's that sensitive to where the tape won't come off. So if I try to take that tape off, it's going to tear. So all the tape where I have it anchored at the top, I'm just going to flip that and mount it behind. Now the paper is darker. It's the right shade of green. And also it absorbs light. It doesn't reflect light. It absorbs light, which is one thing I want. I want it to absorb light, then reflect light. Another thing is the backing behind it is plastic. So it's not completely paper. It's paper on top of plastic. So it will support a little bit more than if it was just paper. There is also pleated. It also has pleated designs around the edges, but you really can't see that, and it's not going to show up in your Chroma Key. Now, the other thing that I use in order to merge this, usually like what I did with the other ones, I merged it from the back side. Now, I just happened to find some green painter's tape from Bargain Hunt for, I think it was either $2 or $3. I got a roll of it, so I was able to merge it from the front. Now, I haven't really tried this yet, but it should work. I shouldn't have any problems with the screen itself or even the tape, but I'm going to try it in a little bit and apply Chroma Key in OBS, and we're going to see what type of effect that you get. Now, other thing, since I'm on this side, since I'm in the center of everything, is my camera angles. Now, my front camera angle is right here. This is my front camera angle. It took me a while to get this camera angle. Now, when you're doing your camera angles, one, I had to make sure my camera angle kept the green screen inside my shot. I had to make sure that I had it from that end to this end. So having it back far enough was important to get it further enough to where my green screen fit the whole shot. Also, I wanted the height. And that was one thing that took me a while, the height. I wanted to where, and let me aim my camera down, to where my mixer, it at least got the top of the mixer. I don't want it to show all the cables, which I did a good job cleaning up the cables. I took a split loom and got all my cables and stuff neat so it doesn't show. Even though this doesn't show only in the overhead, which is from here to the mixer. It doesn't even show, or the countertop or whatever. So a lot of this doesn't show in that part of my video. So I wanted to get the lower part, and also that it covers to where it's over my head, or just slightly over my head, at least probably to about right here. So if I stand on my tiptoes or whatever, I'm still in the shot. So you want to make sure your angles above, below, which is showing your equipment, and then from your left side is set right with your front facing camera. Now, that's important. Make sure that you have a front facing camera. Another thing that you also want to do, and this may not apply to everybody, this is mostly only apply to DJs, is to have an overhead camera. Now, the overhead camera was one that may be more difficult to set up than your front facing camera. The overhead camera, you want to make sure that is centered. It's centered and it has your gear. Now, one thing that I recommend is don't have it like, I didn't have it to do my whole tabletop. I only had it to do my equipment. I just got my equipment in as much as I could, and then I started cropping out the rest, which you'll see when I get ready to show you what that looks like when I get to that point. Now overhead, make sure that you get everything boxed in. And also you want to make sure your overhead is high enough to where it's not in your front shot. So I think my overhead is probably about this much. Let's get that. It's probably about right here from being in my front shot. Now, what I did with setting up my overhead, I have a Logitech C920, which this one is still for sale if anybody wants it. I have a Logitech C920 on a selfie stick. And then a camera tripod. And I got the tripod as high as it can go, which it comes up to about 5 feet. And then I let the selfie stick took care of the rest because I only needed to go a certain amount above. And you need to make sure that everything is out of the way. Make sure your tripod is out of the way, your selfie stick is not showing, or whatever you use as a boom is not showing, and your camera is not showing. And then since the cord of the C920 stopped, I have a USB extension that I use to connect to my laptop. Now that's it as for that. There is another camera, and I just threw this camera in. I don't have a lot of others, and that is the camera. This little camera right here sitting on top of this Powerade bottle that I use to get an angle view. Now that angle view comes in like this. It's going to be something like this. That's the angle that you want to have. Your angle view, which I've described several times, you just get in the lower part. Now I can come and do up higher. And let me move this mic out the way. You could do an angle view like this. And you want to try to do it from both sides. If I want to do it from the other side, I would get it like that, where I can see my equipment. The equipment is in view. You could also do it lower. But those are additional angles that you want to do. Also, another angle is also directly from the side, which I didn't want to use that one in this shot. And let me move back to the other side. Make sure I don't bump anything. All right, now like if you're doing, and see, I probably can't do, I can't do a good angle. Now if I'm doing a side view, this is a side view, which I've listed direct flanking side views. I would have it like this, or a little bit more, somewhat like this. And you would have it high, so when I'm in the picture and I'm not, it'll be like this, to where you can see me and you can see exactly what I'm doing. Now, if you're doing it from an angle view, the angle view would be more like this. But then you can also do a lower, you can bring your angle view down lower and lower. You just want to make sure that it's high enough to where you get the corners right, to where you can be seen as well as your equipment. So, all right, I think that is just about everything on those two scales. Green screen, monitors, if you need them, you may not need them. I had them available, so I just went ahead and tried them to see what it looks like. Your camera angles, overhead, front, sides, and the sides are optional. The sides are optional. At least have a overhead, and a front. Lighting, ring light, and I didn't mention all the lights. Your ring light, you need to have your lights to light your background, and you also need to have two lights or a light to light you from the front from the side. You may also want to have a light to light with my ring light. My ring light is not down as low as it should be. I have my ring light to where it provides light on top of me as well as my face. My ring light provides light from here on down because I have it angled at a high enough angle to where it provides enough light on down. You may want to have a light to do that. Now, lighting, that's going to take some time to do, but you just make sure that you have enough lights to use before you get started. And then your equipment, whatever you have, your equipment, make sure everything is set up. Make sure everything is clean and wiped down before you get ready to start. I'm not going to go a lot into the audio aspects of your equipment, other than make sure that whatever you're using, don't use iRigs on computer-based stuff. Doesn't work. iRig 2, iRig 1, do not use it. The options that you want to use there, you want to use a T, and let's see, where's my cable at? I got one here. You can use whatever type of interface that you can find, but for all computers, this is as basic as you need it. TRS, RCA, and then you may need some adapters depending on the type of connectors that you have. Like this one, I turn my RCAs into a quarter, so now my RCA can accept a quarter, or my cable can accept a quarter input on my mixer, which is what I'm using on this mixer. If I can get it to pan down like that. Right here, this right here is going over to the Asus laptop over here. And then this one right here, the XLR, I'm only using the XLR for my event monitor. But my outputs here are going over to my Asus, to where that's where my audio is. But that's it on the basic setup. If anybody have any questions, I'm about to sit down now because I haven't been able to see any questions. But if there are any questions, I'm gonna go ahead and answer those and whatever else anybody have to say. And then I'm gonna get into OBS and show you some of the camera angles and what they look like from what I've shown you so far. All right. Let me sit this bad boy down and turn it around. All right. And flip my camera around so you can see me. All right, there we go. All right, so let me check out some of these questions because Restream doesn't show questions from my timeline. So I can't see anything that anybody's saying unless I'm looking at my screen. All right. Miss Malone, are you still here? Hope everything that I said wasn't too much. Know that you probably not going to need as much as what I've listed here, which a lot of people don't. This is just extra stuff that I had, and it's just to show you what else that you could do besides the basic if you want to have a nice setup. Now would be good enough for um, doing a good stream, especially if you want to keep your crowd engaged, which I recommend because visuals are more important than audio. You can have your audio to where people can listen to you, but you don't captivate them with the visuals. So providing some visuals for them to stay centered and not only hearing you but watching you, because it can be at some point where people can just walk away and do other stuff, but they can still hear you, and then eventually may lose out altogether. So providing visuals is just as important as audible. All right, I'm gonna pull out my iPad to see some of this stuff because this laptop is bogging down all the resources with using Restream and OBS. So I'm going over now. All right, now what you're seeing right now, this is just the camera view from what I'm using. This is my front view or my main view. Now let me put myself in position to how it would look with me in main view, which here I should be centered. Make sure your equipment is centered. And like I said, this is not a real good camera. I had to use this camera at the last minute, but it's just to get the point. You see that you don't see any of my connections. I started right here at the edge of the mixer. You can't see any of my connections, which makes it a more cleaner look, but you can still see the tone arm for my turntables or whatever. So, and also having unless you have a logo on your laptop, try not to have your laptop to where it's in view and obstructing the view or whatever. Like my laptop is, of course you know that I would need a laptop. I don't want to have it too far away to where I can't see or reach, but it's not an eyesore distracting. As you can see, my whole view around me without me moving the chair, it's pretty much open. And then whenever I need my mic, like I said, I bring my mic in, say what I need to say on the mic, and then I just move it out the way. So now I'm the focal point of the show. And see, you can see me on both sides. I'm over on this side, and then I'm over on this side. So now everything is nice. I'm gonna apply a background to here. I think I have some images. If not, I'm gonna download something real quick and apply on here so you can see how the green screen kicks in. Now I'm probably gonna need to turn up my ring. I'm gonna need to turn up my ring light a little bit more because the intensity on it is lower than what it should be. But when I get to doing the green screen, I'll work on that. All right, let's check out those comments real quick. Oh, let me show you. Like I said, this is my main view. Here is my overhead. Overhead. Okay, I didn't click on it. overhead view. Now you see how clean my equipment, and I'm not for sure it's, yep, it's, I think I got a little edge. I don't know what I moved. I think I may have moved. I'm just gonna slide it down a little bit. There we go. And as you can see, the only thing you can't see much in front of here, you can see my hands. You can see my equipment, you can see my tone arms. Now you see my cables. Usually if I'm in the studio, this will be covered up because I have panels in my workstation that fills this up and cover it in the back. So, but what I did in this case, I cleaned up my cables. I hid my cables as much as I can. I took a split loom to provide a cleaner look. So now everything here is good. This is good. Now I'm going to do something special later on with my overhead setups. That's going to give it a wow effect, and that's something that I'm gonna have to play with. So stay tuned and you know, subscribe and like and share and all that other stuff so you can get notified when I get ready to do what I'm going to do to make this image, to make this scene pop. All right, and then I got my last one. I got the right, and this camera for some reason doesn't focus real well. But here's one from my right side at a right angle like this. It's coming across. To where you can see me. You probably can't see my hands. Now the only way you can see my hands is if I bring the camera angle up and then aim, if I bring it up and aim it downward. Just like I showed earlier. But you can see my hands over here on this deck, and you can see my hands over on this deck. So you can see everything that I'm doing and the motions. Like I said, I got 4 sources, or 4 scenes set up: front, overhead, right, and left. Don't really need too many more than that. You can get by with 2, but you can also add more if you want that extra effect to it. So I'm gonna switch back over to my phone camera now, and let's see what's been said. What's up, OTF? What were you commenting on? I see you said yep, but I don't know at what point that you said it. So let me go through and see what other comments that we may have had. All right. No, too many people may not be up at this time. All right, let's see. Mr. Freeman. I thought you did say something. I know you commented earlier. Or that may have been another post. Okay. Other than that, guys, I think I am done, other than showing some stuff in OBS. And let me go ahead and add an image to the chroma, add a chroma key to get the green screen. Now you may not be able, you're not going to be able to see everything that I'm doing, So I'm just going to explain what I'm doing. While I'm in OBS, I have my main selected. I'm going to add a source. When I add a source, well, no, I'm not going to add a source. I'm going to add a filter. I'm going to find my camera that I'm using in this source. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to apply a filter, an effects filter. I'm going to hit plus, and I'm going to select Chroma Key. And I'm just going to let it, let's see, Chroma Key main. Label it. And that's one thing, always label everything. When using OBS, it makes it easier to identify and find. And I see I have some spots here. Let's see. And this is the tape. And that's probably because the tape is coming up. Or maybe I don't have enough light applied on it. As you can see over on this side of me. What is that? Is that hotspot? So I'm gonna need to change the light. I can go in and make some other changes. But I think for most, okay, that's 100. Make that back to where it was. That was a key color spill that I just changed. Now I'm trying smoothness to see what my smoothness done. And smoothness was default at 80. Okay, I don't want to mess with that. Let's put that back to where it was. See, I might be able to. I'm just gonna put it back to 80. A lot of the changes are default based on what you have set. Similarity is at 400. Let me change that and see what it does. Okay, similarity actually puts the effect in. So let me get it back to 400. I can actually make it a little bit more. And let's try leave it at 423. Brightness is at 0. Let's see if I brighten it up. And I think right now what I need to do, I need to make sure I need to turn my light back up. So now I got my light back up, and you can see now that made a big difference by having the light. So I'm gonna change everything back to default and let's see what happens. Okay, everything is default right now. Let's see what happens with the contrast. Let's get it a little bit brighter. It's too much. About 20.5. 0.20. Brightness, let's adjust that. Don't want it too much. Okay, that's going to be 0. Gamma is at 0. Let's see. Gamma all the way up, gamma all the way off. Try gamma at 0.3. Right there. And I think by making those changes, because as you can see, the tape is reflective. The tape is applying a reflective. Now it may or may not show up in my shot. And we're gonna go out of it. We're gonna say we're done with that. It may or may not show up in my shot. Now I need to provide an image. So I'm providing a new source. Let's go to image. And let's see. CK-main. That's what I'm going to call it. Chroma Key main. I don't know what I have on this computer that I can use. I may have to go and download something. Let's see. Nope, I don't have anything on here. So let me download something to use. Let's do a sky background. And let's go to images. And let's see. All right, here's one with a whole bunch of blue in background that I'm about to choose. And let's save image to my photos so I can find it. All right, so now I got my image saved. Going back to OBS. All right, now I need to position this source as the last. So just like what you do in Photoshop, for those that are familiar with Photoshop, this works like as layers. If I have this one at the top, it covers everything. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to be at the bottom. So as you can see now, the more I move it down, more stuff pops over it. So now there's my cloud, but now I want it to fit. I don't want it to cover up my whole screen. I just want it to cover up my view of my camera. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my webcam. I'm going to right click on it, highlight, right click on it. I'm going to go to transform and I'm going to copy transform. Then I'm going to go back and click on my image. I'm going to highlight it, right click, go to transform again, and then I want to paste transform. So now there. And so my green screen is somewhat, I mean, my screen is good. It's just that I have a little fuzziness along the edges, which that may be because of my camera. Another thing, if y'all haven't noticed, since my vinyl is green, guess what it does? If I hold it out here, if I hold it out like this, if I hold it like this, it doesn't even look like I'm holding anything. So that's one thing that I'm going to play with. Walter Peterson, excuse me. Walter, what I asked you about earlier, this is what I want to try to do, but I want to make sure, I don't know if you can see, there's a black line right here. You may be able to slightly see it, like right there. I want that to show up. I wanted at least that to show up. It's not as dark on here. Let me see. But you can see it right there. Might be able to see it if I take my slip mat off. But anything, and this is one thing to note too. If you're using the green screen, don't wear anything green. No matter what type of shade of green, don't wear anything green. Now, in this case, if I change over to my main or change it to my overhead, I still have my green vinyl. The reason why is I haven't applied the chroma key to this scene. If I apply the cloud chroma key to this scene, then you will see the clouds only here, and you may see them in the green buttons. It may show up in the green buttons. Anything that's here that's green is going to show. Now, with OBS, there are two ways that you can get there's actually three ways. There's three ways that you can get your chroma key. One is by having something green. Another way is having something blue. You can do green, which is what I'm using here, or you can select blue as your chroma color. But I wouldn't recommend using blue, because if you got on blue jeans or blue slacks or anything blue, blue is a color that you would most likely wear, then it's going to make it into a chroma key effect. So you probably don't want to have that color on. Now, in this case, when I'm using, if I'm using the green screen and I don't want the chroma key to show, then I just change to a different color vinyl. And boom, there. You can see my vinyl in only this view where I haven't applied chroma key to here. Now, when I switch back over to my overhead, I still got blue vinyl. Now, I can also do a blue chroma key here and a green for my background to make a crazy effect, which that gives me an idea, which I'm gonna have to try that later. Like I said, a lot of this is, let's see, that right there is because of the chair. But other than that, my green screen is good. And remember what I said earlier about shadows? You could see shadows behind me. Those are dark spots. If you see like right, trying to make it create, but I just had one. If you can see right along my arm, it's creating shadows behind me. Like right behind me. Directly right behind me. Those are shadows. The closer I am to the front, it's going to show. If I walk backwards, it's going to be less of a shadow because I'm not allowing the shadow to appear around me. So this is why, like I said, you want to have additional lighting from the side to light your background. And you see now, look, I don't have as much fuzziness around my borders compared to this side. Look at this side. You see a lot more shadowing behind me and along my arm areas. Because I don't have the light is not on this side. The additional light is on this side. So having additional lighting will also clean up your chroma key background. So what we found out as of now, and this is my first time doing it, the green cloth tablecloths work. I mean, I merged 3. This one right here is running horizontally. Then I have another one that's merged horizontally. They're merged right here, starting from right here and run all the way across here to the end. Now that wasn't enough for the view for this room. So I'm like, I can't do the video because my camera angle is still not good. I'm not completely in the shot. My gear is not in the shot and I can't get my whole green screen. So I took another tablecloth and I mounted it. I attached it, but vertically. And it runs from here down or where it's connected up. When I turn off the chroma key, you'll be able to see it. And it's over on that side. And it was enough to cover the whole room. And it probably was maybe 8 inches. 8 inches from covering this whole entire wall. And I can get the tops too, because there's enough of it on the floor to where I could have went up to the ceiling if I needed to. Because there was enough of it here. But I didn't really need to go that high. I only really need to go as high as here, which covers my camera angle. So really and with my hand up, I'm still not touching the top of it. All right, but like I said, you see the further I get away, the shadows, you see the shadows that I'm creating behind me with the ring light. The ring light is providing light for my face, which is not providing actually enough light for my face. I would have the ring light usually here, and then I would have another light to provide light on top where I don't really need to be wearing a hat. Because if I'm wearing a hat, then I'm producing a shadow on my face. But with the ring light, it's providing enough light to get under the hat or the visor. But as you can see over here on this side where I have the soft light, it's providing enough light on this side. And then I will also have a light here and a light over here to provide light on me and to take the shadowing off the equipment and to provide light there to where I won't have this fuzzy border, which that's probably why I have that border, because I don't have enough frontal light. But I think that's about it. And how long have I been? Let's see, about an hour and a half. I think that's about enough for about an hour and a half. If you guys find this useful, my YouTube channel is listed, is right here, over here on the side. If you want to contribute to my Cash App wasn't supposed to be here for this video, but I had already had this stuff created for another purpose, which was this was supposed to been for my Father's Day mix, which it didn't show. Where is it? Okay, here. Right here. This was supposed to have been for a Father's Day mix that I was supposed to have been create to where you would see the comments from Twitch and YouTube here. Unless I get the paid version, I can't get the comments for Facebook. And then for anybody that wanted to donate or tip, I had my Cash App there. And then also I have my YouTube, my Instagram, and my Twitch handles, which I would say go to those, subscribe, share any other videos that I do, and also, make sure if you like this, hit that like. Y'all take care, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.